So let's find out more about what the situation is like in Scotland with GBNews reporter Davie Donaldson. Davie, what guidance comes into force today? What's the change in the regulations?
Well, the change in the regulations, Arlene, is that it's now legally enforceable for hospitality venues to make sure that social distancing happens and to make sure that there's no queues, etc. inside, and make sure that it's obviously social distance. So screens go back up as well. The one-way system will be introduced again. So it's kind of back as you were, really, for a lot of businesses, which again is going to impact on how many people they can get in there and obviously how much money they can make as well. And they've been badly hit. I was speaking to a business yesterday for a report I'll be doing on Sunday that they've lost £25,000 at least due to obviously the amount of cancellations they've had to endure. So yeah, these regulations have come into force, so that's certainly going to have a huge impact. We've also already got this 3 household rule either side of Christmas, so depending on when you have your Christmas, whether it's Christmas Eve, Christmas Day or Boxing Day, but either side of those 3 days, then it's going to be a 3 household rule, and lateral flow tests encouraged to be taken. So yeah, that's the changes there. So that's certainly big news in terms of how it's affecting Scotland. But yeah, we'll see how many people actually stick to these rules, because some of them obviously are legally enforceable and some of them aren't, and I think that's where a lot of the confusion lies.
So we have guidance and we have regulations, and that's always a bit of a confusion. But we've spoken on occasion to members of the hospitality sector, Davie, from Scotland, and they were quite angry when I spoke to them, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. What's the feeling like now in hospitality?
Well, I think it's probably even worse, because we've got Nicola Sturgeon today saying don't go out, ahead of Christmas unless you have to. So, and you can understand why she said that. She says we're now in the tsunami of cases has finally arrived, and you can understand why she's done that. And certainly speaking to people and looking around here, there's certainly a lot of bars that are empty, restaurants are empty. People are deciding just not to go out. So I don't know if she needed to come out and say that, because I think people are deciding for themselves just to avoid going. We've heard all the cancellations I was talking about earlier there. I've spoken to a number of hospitality venues in this area, and to say that the bookings are collapsing would be an understatement. They're getting calls every day, every minute of the day, just people saying no, we don't want that table anymore. Some of these obviously will be work Christmas parties or big family groups going out. That's not going to happen. So yeah, a lot of people very unhappy, especially the hospitality industry, because how much money are they going to lose? Christmas is a boom time of year for them. So this is going to cost, I think it was estimated up to £1 billion. I think that figure might actually be higher now, and certainly a huge amount of frustration. One of the businesses I spoke to said that they may not even be able to continue past January unless they get help and support.
And finally, Davie, just to wrap this part of the COVID piece up, are people concerned about what's coming next? We've talked about what has happened and what's happening tonight, but are they worried about what's coming next in Scotland?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just the tip of the iceberg at the moment in terms of the number of Omicron cases. It will spread, there's no doubt about that. It'll spread right across the UK and right across the world. So, it's certainly going to happen. There's no doubt about that. And it's just a case of waiting and seeing, how bad it actually gets. And you couldn't rule out, Nicola Sturgeon saying either, raising the level back to level 2 or perhaps a lockdown or a circuit breaker. You couldn't rule it out, given the cases we've seen, record-breaking cases up by 40%, Nicola Sturgeon said earlier today. So you'd have to be a lot of concern, I think, up here in terms of, what's going to happen next. Clearly people are going to have a very quiet Christmas, and then it's going to be what's going to happen after that is anyone's guess. But you see, if the cases keep going, then you couldn't rule out Nicola Sturgeon putting in place further restrictions.
OK, Davie, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.